Hey there, Chad here for the AI Content Dojo. In this video, I want to showcase the new Chibi Studio that we released on Chibi AI that is designed to help you craft those really cool prompts that generate that, really cool artwork that you've probably seen all over the internet now. It's kind of popping up all over the place. It's winning art competitions even. And something that a lot of people don't know about me is a few years ago, I ran my own digital art studio. This is before the cool AI tools started coming out. And I just instantly fell in love with these AI tools. And I completely understand how it can be a little bit difficult for someone to understand exactly what they need to do to get the best results from these tools. And when I say these tools, I mean like MidJourney or DALL-E 2 or Stable Diffusion and those like that. And so I already have Chibi AI, and where we have a tool that creates amazing content as a writer, and it just seemed like a natural fit, especially since I come from an artist background. And yeah, so Chibi Studio is born. And when I say born, it's in beta. It's really, really early. And I literally call it 0.1 release, but I wanted to get this online so that everybody could see it, start using it, give some feedback and stuff like that. Now, what I'm really trying to do is kind of model it around as if you're almost using like a tool, like something like a Photoshop or an Affinity Designer kind of thing, where you're clicking filters and styles and applying them to an image, but instead of an image, you're applying them to text that you will take to turn into an image. I know it's a little strange, but Chibi Studio does not actually generate the imagery. And that's because the real art, I think, going forward is actually in the prompt crafting, or sometimes called prompt engineering. And so the Chibi Studio is focused on helping you craft those prompts. And then you can take those prompts and use them in MidJourney or DALL-E 2 or Stable Diffusion or any of the others that are cropping up, and get the content that you want that way. And that way you don't have to go around and pay each individual different, tool. It's, a fee just to get access to generate imagery. Like Stable Diffusion can be hosted locally on your own workstation if you really wanted to save the most money. Personally, I prefer MidJourney, so I'm going to be doing most of my examples and stuff there. So this is the Chibi Studio, and it's a pretty simple process. If you look at the getting started here, it just says first enter your subject, pick some styles and brushes and things like that to apply to that subject. Then you can adjust the prompt. You can make some tweaks and stuff to it before you copy it out and put it into your favorite tool. And so what I'm going to do over here, the where you enter the subject is over here to the right. It says subject, woman, lion. I really probably should update that. But I have an example here. It's a sci-fi desert planet with a sprawling city in the distance. You can click on that and it'll actually fill that in for you and get things started. I'm going to change this. I'm just going to say a sci-fi world, a sci-fi alien world. And I'm just going to take that out. Just a shorter, simpler prompt. You can go on and have lots of detail. One of the things you'll find is that some words might kind of just get ignored by the tool or the AI, like MidJourney. I'll just say MidJourney from now on, but when I say that, it could be DALL-E 2 or Stable Diffusion or whatever you use. But a tool like MidJourney might sort of start ignoring some of the words, and at that point you'll have to go back in and kind of tweak things. But what we do now is we try to figure out what do we want to apply to this image. So I got a sci-fi alien world. What do I want to do with it? Let's say that I want to just do this in like maybe in a sort of anime style. I can come in here and I can pick through these different animes that are listed in here, and I'm going to go with God Eater. I think that's a really cool anime. I do live in Tokyo. I have for 26 years, and yeah, so some of these are really cool to watch for sure. After that, I can pick something else. Like it's a bit of a painting style, so I'm also going to say maybe in sort of let's go with an acrylic paint kind of style, and then maybe even concept art. We'll throw that in there too. We can even pick some brushes if we wanted to do this with like, let's say that we wanted to do this with like an old jagged brush. We can apply those. And as you apply these things, you can see the visual representation here. If you want to remove them, you can click this and it'll remove that from your prompt as well. Let's go ahead and pick some colors. We want this to be dichromatic maybe. Let's pick a couple colors that are kind of crazy. Actually, let's let MidJourney pick the colors this time, since I've already picked the God Eater anime. It has a like a reddish kind of dark gray slate kind of color tone to it. I think that'd be pretty cool. Now the sci-fi. Now we read this prompt to us, right? There's a sci-fi alien world, God Eater anime style, acrylic paint, concept art, old brush, jagged brush, dichromatic. Okay, so now we can make some changes. There's this little pencil icon here. We can click on that, and this thing turns green. Let you know that it's like kind of in edit mode or something like that. And we can make some changes to that. Maybe we want to say in the God Eater anime style. Maybe come over here and say using acrylic paint. We can leave concept art like that with an old. Let's take out the first brush, old jagged brush, dichromatic, and let's just add the word colors here just for completeness. And you can either click there or not click there, it doesn't really matter. And then we can copy this prompt. So all together we have this prompt now, and I'm going to go over here, and this is my Discord where I got MidJourney, and I'm just going to type /imagine, paste that in there. I'm actually going to change the aspect ratio because I know that I'm envisioning a sort of wider angle, and the default from MidJourney is a square. So I'm going to do this at more like a 10. Oops, got to do aspect ratio, and then we'll do 10 by, I don't know, maybe 7. And while that's running, I probably should have turned on fast mode, so who knows, it might take a little while. This tool is the Chibi Studio. When I say this tool, this is just the very beginning. Like I said, this is 0.1 of the beta. There's going to be more styles, more brushes, more materials. We're going to add composition, lighting, maybe even like 3D rendering type of vernacular words, dictionary stuff, you know. And this is going to be, you know, blowing up into a ton of more features for you to be able to pick from. And we're also going to start integrating Chibi's brain into this as well for Chibi users to take advantage of some of our expertise with AI text. And there's going to be some tools in there that will help sort of transform these prompts into something more powerful, better, different, random even, for Chibi users. So just a heads up that this is, like I said, just beta 1. So there's a ton more to come. I just wanted to get this out there. So if you have any feedback for me, I'm definitely all ears. The research and stuff that I've been doing to, Wikipedia has been amazing for all the different like art movements and different things I've been looking up. And there's just, as you dive down into the art world and you go through the history of it, you start to find a ton of information. And I want to try and turn as much of that as I can into, a visual representation that you can just click on to, apply it to your prompts and maybe get something interesting that you can work with for whatever your needs are. If you're a product designer or a web designer or something like that, or just for your social media stuff. This is not even starting. Let's just go ahead and let's go to fast mode and let's do that prompt again so that we're not waiting as long. Hopefully this time it runs faster. I know that MidJourney was having some issues a little bit earlier, so maybe they're still having. Oh, here it goes. All right. So that's running. Let me just go ahead and expand this a little bit so we can see most of it. One of the cool things about MidJourney is as it's running, you kind of watch it go. So you get like the first pass, like it's 3% done right now, and you just get sort of this haze, but you can kind of see it coming together as it's working. And you're like, okay, I could kind of see some mountains. There's like probably a moon or a sun of some kind. Looks kind of dark on this one, so it's probably a moon, sort of. But it's an alien world, so who knows what's in here, right? Okay, took a big jump there. It looks like a planet. Maybe this one's a planet and a sun. It's got some mountains. This is pretty cool. Oh, look at that. So the God Eater aspect of it, you can kind of tell on these right too. So MidJourney is creating 4 pictures for me based off of that prompt. And then you can pick one to kind of upscale it or even remaster it after you've upscaled it. And I'll hang around long enough to show you that too. But this is an interesting way of crafting those really cool prompts, I think. Instead of trying to picture creating them all by hand, Like you can go through, you could of course write all these prompts out by hand if you wanted to, but I think that a tool like Chibi Studio will help you construct prompts that maybe you wouldn't have constructed on your own if you didn't have that all kind of right in front of you in one place. So here we go. What we got was this, and I'm gonna go with number 1 up here because that totally looks like God Eater style right there. I mean, not number 1, sorry. This is a quad bank. It starts from left to right, and then kind of down to the bottom left is number 3. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and upscale number 2, which basically means it's going to take number 2 and it's going to make it bigger. But their upscaler also kind of adds in some details and makes a few corrections and changes to it. After that is done, I'm going to show you what the remaster does to it. Now this is something that's specific to MidJourney, and this isn't a Chibi Studio thing, but I think it's really cool to show it in the video, so I wanted to show it. But of course, if you're not a MidJourney user and you prefer to use DALL-E and stuff like that, you can just use your prompt over in DALL-E the same way. Likely you'll get a more artistic vibe from MidJourney, I've found. It seems like DALL-E kind of tries to sort of focus more literally on things. That's probably why I like MidJourney, because of my artistic background. I like the sort of vibe and the flair that MidJourney creates. But if you're trying to go for realism and realistic imagery for maybe like stock photography and stuff like that, MidJourney does have a little bit harder time with that. Their test models and stuff were doing better. And so maybe there's a chance in the future that would work better. Okay, so something happened and we don't get to see the upscaled version. So I'm just going to hit remaster. Sometimes that happens in MidJourney, but behind the scenes there is one. See if I can click on this and it loads it. Sometimes this loads empty too. There we go. So you can see it's pretty blocky and it looks painted. And it's probably because we went with, oops, that's the wrong, where are we at here? Because we went with acrylic paint and stuff like that, right? So it's kind of having that more painterly appearance, which is what we were aiming for anyways. So we got this cool world and painterly appearance. And now in the background, because I clicked on remaster, it's MidJourney is going through and using a different model, their test model in the creative mode, to try to recreate that in a different way. Now this is that previous one that we ran, and just still waiting. It's a 0% for the remaster, and then we'll go ahead and close up this video. And I hope that you found this stuff pretty interesting. If you haven't seen these tools before, I know there's a lot of content out there already for MidJourney and stuff. So this is probably just a bunch of repeat for you. You've seen all this stuff before, but I hope that you find this stuff interesting with a tool like Chibi Studio. Here we go. So the remaster is running now. It's about 20%. The remasters seem, once they get started, they kind of seem to jump in large increments. So it's about halfway done now. And this sort of blob on the left kind of started taking shape, didn't it? It's sort of an alien. It almost looks like an alien from the movie. It's pretty cool though. And the thing about the newer model, the remaster, is it actually does kind of have more focus on things. And so we get some details in there that we didn't have in the other one. So that's pretty cool. I like it. And so if you give this a shot, please definitely give me some feedback. You can do it in the comments below, or if you head over to, when you're on Chibi Studio, if you click on this changelog, it's going to take you over to the Chibi community, where you can join there. It's totally free. You can join there and we can discuss these tools and how I can improve this for you and everything like that. So until next time, take care.